of the Big Ten, but they're both very close to each other. It's going to be a competitive game tonight with two teams trying to switch some things up and get their seasons going, but we're just about a couple seconds away. It's going to be a fun night.
We don't have much time to prep you, everybody. We're just getting right on and going. The Spartans and the Terps are live from the Xfinity Center Pavilion in College Park, Maryland. First serve time, 8:05 p.m. on the East Coast. Michigan State wastes absolutely no time. Susanna Kulig gets it underway. 1-0 to the Spartans right away.
Yeah, it's her 111th kill of the season, and she's a big presence in that middle. Let's see if the Terps can control her as this game goes on.
It's a Maryland Terrapins lineup that we're a little bit seeing a bit of a plug-and-play situation, as there's Samantha Schnitter, and she has been at the center of everything good the Maryland Terrapins have produced. There might be a few different starters on the floor right now. She's been a mainstay. Yeah, the team leader in points and kills. She picks up kill number 270 on the season. That mean left hand, she's going to be an issue for the Spartans tonight. Lily Gunter deep to serve, Maryland libero. Just going to be floated over by Nailani Yosia. Zoe Wong up, soft touchdown from Eva Rohrbach. Akasha Anderson sent back hard. Katie Scherer and Eva Rohrbach on the denial.
Well, Katie Scherer is someone who's really just been playing better and better as this season has gone on. She's willed her way into the starting lineup. She's making an impact early as the Terps have the lead.
Against another impact player on that opposite side in Akasha Anderson. That's going to be the player to watch for Maryland on the defensive side. Here's Scherer on that opposite side. Yosia up. A touch off the top from Karolina Staniszewska to level things back up.
Yeah, Allie Williams, the junior defensive specialist, just couldn't quite get to that one. There's going to be a lot of deflections in this game, but Michigan State keeping it close here as we got a 2-all game.
We've had a few nice points to start off our night here in College Park. Akasha Anderson, that impact name, serves away. It's a loose set from Zoe Wong. Back row sent back hard was Taylor Hold'em, and it hits the floor. Right back to the Terps it goes.
Taylor Hold'em, the reigning second-team All-Big Ten member, is a dangerous player in the middle, but she can't clear that Maryland middle, and that's how the Terps have that 3-2 lead.
Something Samantha Schnitter aces at is the aces themselves. She's back deep to serve, and she gets one as if on cue. Hey, it's fun when you speak things into existence. It's fun when you watch a few games and get a little bit of a feeling. 4-2 to the Terps. Schnitter does what she does best.
That's that left-hand hammer I was talking about earlier. Nobody's a better server statistically when it comes to aces than Samantha Schnitter. She picks up number 62 on the season.
And that goes just long. That's what comes with Samantha Schnitter's game. It's high risk, high reward. Maryland is quite insistent that that did catch the back line, and we're just 7 points in. We'll get our first review of the day. Due to technical constraints, we do not have replay to show you, but we will rely on the referee's best instincts. We were talking, though, before the game started, Mr. Stein, is that we were watching the Michigan State team warm up, and there was a lot of focus on that serve. Samantha Schnitter, as big of a problem as she is for everybody else, against a weaker serving team in Michigan State, I've said it so many times on these games that I've done through the season, that serving is going to be the key to the game, even more so if the Terps can execute. This could be a quick one if they want it to be.
Yeah, Maryland is one of the best serving teams in the Big Ten. Is actually that challenge overturned, and Maryland does earn the point to make it a 5-2 ball game. But as I was saying, Michael, so Maryland's the best serving team in the Big Ten statistically. Michigan State has allowed the third most service aces in the Big Ten, which is not a good thing for these two teams.
They gave up 2 straight to Samantha Schnitter. They get things back started again. The defense holds strong on the first 2 attacks. Anderson from the back row. Now Sid Dowler up. A little low for Schnitter to attack. Yosiva up. Staniszewska has to go weakly over. Now the left hand from Dowler. Julia Bishop up. Staniszewska sent back hard. Sid Dowler, you have her on those front lines for a reason. One of the best defensive setters in the conference.
Yeah, Maryland has struggled this season with blocking and playing near the tape, but Dowler that time makes a good play. So far, this has been a really good middle here for Maryland. They haven't really let the Spartans get anything over them yet.
It's also been a good job of keeping the ball in Samantha Schnitta's hands. It will go out of her hands now. Akasha Anderson makes her impact felt for the first time tonight. Taylor Preston subs in.
Taylor Preston, one of Michigan State's more experienced players, an Oklahoma transfer, 200-plus kills on the season. Another one of those players to watch. Michigan State really has at least 3 or 4 outside hitters that do a lot of damage for their team.
Maryland opens themselves out to a nice lead on the opposite side where Schnitta served them into a 3-point lead. Michigan State now gives it straight back. That's not what you want to see if you're the Spartans early on. Yeah, and I want to clarify something. So Michigan State actually has the 3rd least amount of service aces in the Big Ten. It's not allowed service aces, but again, that's something that can really swing a set. If one team's really good at serving, the other team is not so good, that's one of those things where you can gain some net points. As you see, that was actually a service error there on the part of the Terps. Stanishevska and Spahn exchange service errors. We're back to net 0. Terps still hold a 3-point lead early in set number 1. 7-4 to the Terps, thanks to this hot hand on the service line all season long of Samantha Schnitta. The hot hand on the defensive end, Nalani Yosia. The Spartans libero serves away. Back row, Samantha Schnitta. She levitates. Little bit of extra heat from the back row.
Samantha Schnitta, when you hit the ball that hard, you really can set up your spike from wherever you want. And that specific play, she wasn't as close as the net as she usually is, but it doesn't matter because she hits the ball with such velocity.
Getting Schnitta going early is so important. These last few of these 9-game losing skid that the Terps are on, they haven't had a player get ahead of 12 kills. And when you have such a premier hitter as the likes of Schnitta, Sam Sire, who was checked in, you're expecting a big number out of them each and every game. Nice little dump kill for Michigan State to get it back into their hands. But you want Maryland, you think that when you have an impact transfer in Samantha Schnitta from Ole Miss, to target her a little more. She's barely seen any of the action.
Yeah, and it's going to be something that the Spartans are going to have to adjust to, as most teams do. It's always funny seeing their reactions when she hits the ball because she hits it harder than a lot of other players.
It's also seeing the reaction when Sid Dowler just goes with a dump kill of her own. She's good for 2 or 3 of those every game. She springs them whenever, and she has a really high success rate. She knows when to pick her moments.
Yeah, she's such a versatile setter. Obviously, she's great at assists. She leaves Maryland in that. And, you know, here's a good serve as well, but she's so good offensively.
Akasha Anderson just wide. Stays in the Terps' hands. It was Dowler's service role for the past 4 years, well, rather for the past 3 years. She became a sophomore, and it was hers for the taking. But up until this year, it's a different pattern that Adam Hughes is going with. We saw Zoe Wong start this game off. That's a loose return of the serve, and Spartans scramble. Here is Dowler. She's a front row setter. And on the far side, it is Taylor Preston. A big swing to get the Spartans back within 4.
Yeah, Taylor Preston came into this game, 205 kills, 75 digs, a really versatile player. But again, these outside hitters could really give Maryland some trouble here. Let's see if the Spartans can narrow this lead just down 4.
Zoe Wong has entered the game now. She is a back row setter. Off the fingertips on the swing from Schnitta. Yosiva, nice find for Anderson. Can only do so much with it. Far side, Sam Sire. Off the fingertips of Julia Bishop. Yosiva can't keep it up. Back to a 5-point lead.
Yeah, and so with that kill, Sam Sire now moves into 5th all-time for kills in Maryland history. It's expected that she's going to pass that here, but that now gives her kill number 1,388. Very impressive for the 5th-year player.
And she goes right back to the baseline to get us started. Again, Zoe Wong can't handle the heat. Back within 4 points. We extend congratulations to Sam Sire, and it just speaks to her consistency throughout her 5 years here. She entered in a really tough spot, Erica Pritchard being the main hitter in her freshman year. She transfers out to Penn State. It immediately becomes Sire's role. And the last 4 years, the Sire fire has burned up this pavilion.
It's burned indeed. And we were talking to Adam Hughes about this in the middle of the week, and he talked about how proud he was of the older players, such as Sire, who are doing a really good job leading this team, as Maryland's going to get another point on the board.
And it seems that experience is rubbing off really nicely on the younger players, such as Scherer, who we talked about before the game, Daniel, that we have a 9-game losing streak up against the toughest conference in the country. The lack of outside hitters and the injuries that Maryland has faced, it's not going to help them either. But
yeah, and Scherer has a big role to play, as Terps are going to get another point here, but Scherer has a big role to play because Sydney Bryant out for the season. They're already thin at those outside hitter spots, but Scherer has really stepped up. I mean, she was quiet versus Indiana, but for someone who's just a freshman, these are the kind of players that Hughes needs to be seeing to step up as the season goes on.
It was expected that Layla Ivy was going to get the majority of the tertiary role, as there's Stanishevska once again. Ferocious second kill of the night. So you knew that it was going to be Schnitta and Sire leading the pack as the primary and secondaries, but when Ivy went down at the beginning of the season, Sydney Bryant saw her role largened a lot more, but now Bryant's done for the season. So this is why recruiting and keeping any player that you can fresh is so important.
Yeah, and it's a shame because Bryant was playing really well.
Yeah.
And it's not, injuries are inevitable in a team, but Hughes, when he talked to us about how proud he was of the older players, he also mentioned how proud he was of the young players starting to step up and get ready, because this is going to be their team one day, and I think that's a really encouraging sign for Maryland.
You can almost treat this as an audition for next year if you're Scherer. She gets another chance, not the best set from Dowler, rather loose. Bishop is the Spartans' main quarterback. Here's Schnitta. Didn't have too much height to work with, but found a nice angle. Stanishevska set him back this time. It's Sydney Dowler on the solo. The setter can get it done. Conference wins since 2017. Another real tough serve to handle from Schnitta. It's a free ball attempt. Dowler up. Scherer sent back. It falls on the side of the Spartans. Here is Anderson back row. The Auburn transfer takes a little bit off. Soft touch from Rohrbach. On the slide, doesn't need the power all the time. The California native takes a bit of heat off.
Yeah, and Ava Rohrbach showing some of that versatility. Normally, she played in the middle. That was what she did a lot at the beginning of the season, especially when Anastasia Russ was down with injury. But she can hit from the outside and from the middle as well, and she's one of Maryland's best young players.
Serve handled nicely this time. Stanishevska has been the dominant force so far. So important to have those secondary options when players like Anderson, where it's clear that the Terps have been preparing for her the most. So when you don't have that one option, option two, and Stanishevska has to shine just as brightly as Anderson normally does.
Yeah, this is going to be a mismatch, I think, for the Spartans. They have a good amount of outside hitter depth, and I think that's how they're going to play Maryland, a team that doesn't have a lot of that depth. And so it'll be interesting to see if Stanishevska can keep going as this game goes on.
It's been a pretty even spread of kills so far, but Katie Scherer wants to get her name up on the charts. That's kill number 2.
Yeah, Katie Scherer, again, I mean, the St. Charles, Illinois native, we just talk about how impressive she's been, and it's going to be important for her to get going, not have one of those Indiana-type games where she didn't have a kill. She already has 2 here, so she's off to a better start.
Terps are hitting close to 400 here in set number 1. It's all come from the service game, dragging Michigan State all out of whack, and it's just another compliment to much of a lead, close to 20 points.
Yeah, and so they're not going to be used to this, but we'll just have to see what happens.
This will be a good litmus test for them going forward in this game as well as in the season. Julia Bishop up. Hard send down, and it just doesn't hit the floor. It's a real hard swing, too, from Preston. They've had her on lock as well.
And that's really impressive, considering this is a really talented player in Preston who's been talented even going back to the high school level as well. But the Terps on a 3-0 run here as they get ready to serve once again.
Anderson got a touch. That's kill number 2 on 8 attempts to go along with 3 errors for Anderson. It's been clamps in this first set on the star outside.
Yeah, and she was all-freshman team at Auburn. Now in her second school, the Big Ten is a bit of a different animal, but so far she's been kept quiet.
Yosiva the serve knuckles. Free ball for the Spartans. It's a dump set. And Julia Bishop does her best Sydney Dowler impression to get it to within 8.
Yeah, Bishop is sneaky out there at the setter position. She only came into this game with 33 kills, but tonight she gets her first, and that's keeping Michigan State in this game as they get ready to serve once more.
Yosiva returned home to California just a few weeks ago, where the Spartans completed their lone win of the season, a reverse sweep against USC. She's greeted by around 70 friends and family. She's from just outside of where USC is in Los Angeles. She's from Long Beach. Yosiva will get it back in her hands again.
Yeah, and that was a really big win for them. I mean, 3-2 against a ranked team like USC. USC took care of Maryland pretty easily when they came here a couple weeks ago. But this is a Michigan State team that I think there's probably no one except for Maryland maybe who's more disappointed with the way that their conference play has gone. I mean, they have a lot of really decorated players, but that 1-11 record in the Big Ten just, I think, is a really tough way for this season to go.
Dowler pulled out a system, finds Sire nicely. Got a nice swing behind it. Stanishevska from the back row. Second attempt for Sire, took some off it. And I think that's really a big point for them to get. Sure, it's an 8-point lead as opposed to a 6-point lead, both big. That would have been a 4-0 run for the Spartans and a bit more momentum, but that's killed off. Maryland is start off this set, hoping to get to that 25. 2 blockers on the floor in Rohrbach and Russ. Julia Bishop up. Preston gets a touch. Here's Sire. Overpass for the Terps. Here's Sire far side again. Hasn't been kept too in momentum so far. That gets a touch off of Dowler. And Preston has her second kill on the night.
There you go, got the ball.
There you go. Oh, should have held on to it. Kept a little bit of a souvenir.
I'm not sure if it works like baseball in that way, but...
I wish. Bishop serves away. They've been feeding Sire these last 2 points. That's a nice swing, but dug out by Yosiva. Preston met at the net by Dowler. Nice dump set, a real nice pancake from John Espant to save it. We're still going. Yosiva, Anderson free ball. Dowler, the dump set of her own.
That was... Jonna Spahn is probably one of the more acrobatic players on this team. She's always kind of diving all over the place, and that was the flashiest play probably you'll see from anyone in this first set. That was a great play to save the point.
Stanishevska has a bit of trouble with the serve. Dowler near side, Schnitta. They've been limiting Akasha Anderson's real hard swing attempts, and they have been maximizing them from Samantha Schnitta. Her third on the night.
Yeah, Schnitta just having a good set. I mean, it hasn't been the... She has 2 service aces on the night so far. But again, Terps getting close to that 25 number. Let's see if they can finish that one out.
They've been playing a lot more free with this lead. They really do feel the effects of not being able to make any mistakes on this 9-game skid. That's a nice play. You just sometimes give credit where it's due. Nice setup from Bishop.
Yeah, and Kulig, you know, when you're 6'4", you're going to be kind of a force in that middle range. And right there, Terps defense just opened up, and that's basically the volleyball equivalent of a dunk.
That quick set has been so prevalent, as there's Anastasia Russ on the quick set. Maryland says, if you can do it, I can do it better.
It'll be Russ's first kill of the night, as Michigan State's going to make some subs. And Russ, we haven't seen her yet in this first set, but now they put her in, and she immediately makes an impact. Terps now just 2 points away from taking the first set.
Sire serves away. Bishop in system. There's your 1 set, nice touch from Wang. But no one in that back row, Scherer being the closest, could find a touch to keep it going.
Yeah, when you're getting the ball on that downward angle like that, it makes the initial first hit so much more difficult. And Huang, normally pretty good at controlling it, but unable to on that last play.
Takes a touch off the net, and it goes in the Spartans' favor. It's Susanna Kulig once again. She leads the Spartans in kills, and now she's doing it from the back as well. Kulig out of Szanów, Poland. We're seeing a lot more international influence at the collegiate level over the last few years. Terps still at 23. Here's Scherer. Handled handedly on the far side. Anderson on the defensive end.
Yeah, now teach them as much as other coaches in the Big Ten.
A lead that was once 18-9 to Maryland is now 23-17. Kulig serves away once again. Opposite side, Katie Scherer. It took a touch, and that allowed Kulig to just not be able to handle it cleanly, and that's a big point to disrupt the momentum and put it on set point here in set number 1.
3 kills for Scherer, as that puts her tied for the Maryland lead. Gunter to serve. Let's see if the Terps can close it out.
Here's Anderson. Just too far wide. She wanted her say, but she was really shut down well by that Maryland block. In Penn State, Wisconsin, Minnesota, USC, Oregon. It's like you're playing the number 10 team every single week in this conference now. I mean, it never stops is the point. And just to go along with Maryland's October, Michigan State's September nearly as tough.
Yeah, they had to play 2 games out in the ACC, at Duke, at North Carolina. Then they keep going on this brutal road trip with Michigan, number 4 Penn State, Indiana, and Penn State. Then they come home, and you'd think that's where it ends, and then Penn State comes to town and plays them where they lose. So this is just how the Big Ten has gotten. The conference realignment has made it even more of a loaded conference, but still just really tough months for these 2 teams.
Hughes thought about challenging the call for a touch or lack thereof. Spartans off to a hot start here in set number 2. Terps still yet to reel it in. There's Anastasia Russ. Nice bit of anticipation, but the swing on the far side from Preston goes begging. Stanishevska has been really active in this second set. She's a perfect 4 for 4 on the swing side. She also has that nice dig as well.
Yeah, but good job by the Terps getting on the board there, and Stanishevska is someone who played a lot last year and has a pretty good international record as well, as it looks like we're going to get another service error for the Terps. But Stanishevska is not someone who starts a ton, but is playing pretty well in the opportunity she's gotten here in College Park.
Her physicality has been on display. That's what you use to combat a hard, tough front line the Maryland Terrapins throw at you. Susanna Kulig has been the star so far. She serves away. A knuckling low serve that gets off the ground. Katie Scherer with venom. Her Maryland Terrapin leading. 4th kill on the day. Just 1 error as well. She's swinging well.
She's swinging well indeed, and she's on pace to blow her career high kill number out of the water. She said it a couple games ago with 7. She's already got 4 tonight. Let's see if she can keep it up.
Like Hold'em was way out of rhythm, but worked to the Spartans' benefit. It looked like she kind of had to take a step, recenter herself, and it threw the Terps completely out of whack. 4-2 to the Spartans. Hot start, but it's come at the expense of 2 Terp service errors.
Yeah, the service errors for sure not helping, but it was a good job on that last point from the Spartans, getting the Terps out of system, as we're just going to get a quick serve here.
The touch came off of Wong. She tried to pull her arm back. She thought that Preston's swing might have been going wide. She reacted too late.
Yeah, Michigan State getting off to a much better start this time. Julia Bishop, 12 service aces coming into this game. She doesn't even jump when she serves, but it's a pretty good serves, and it's going to lead to another MSU point.
Just a simple, easy overpass, and doesn't get easier than that for Neil Okur. out of Turkey. She also doesn't see too much playing time, but just to be able to switch looks up against the Terps as much as they can. We talked about how the schedules have been so tough for each team that now these are the games that you think you can go ahead and win, that these are the ones you have to be competitive in. Angle cut too tight. Plenty of more volleyball to be played, which means plenty more time for the Terps to get back in it. Loose set for Scherer. And it's been sloppy like that all through the second set. It hasn't been fundamental volleyball thus far. It looked really clean in set number 1, but just seems a little bit skittish here of a start to set number 2.
Yeah, they have to just get their outside hitters in better positions, as Scherer got in a better position there. But again, that's MSU now getting a better block gain than they had in the first set. On that previous point, though, Michael, it almost looked like Scherer had to kind of do an impression of the Jordan logo, kind of reaching up to put that ball over, and she just wasn't able to, as here the Terps are going to catch a break. And let's see if they change up their offense a bit with Dowler coming back in.
It'll be Dowler for Wong. Big opportunity for the Terps to close now a 6-point gap. 9-3, the Spartans lead. And they've got their best server at the line. Schnitta serves away to get things started. Bishop in system. Sent back hard. A big block from Eva Rohrbach to keep it in their hands. Now 9-4 to the Terps.
Rohrbach has been really effective so far in the middle. That's now block number 6 for her on the game, leading all Terps by a mile.
And that's not what you need if you're Adam Hughes and the Terps. You need that ball in your best server's hands, bring you back to maybe within 2 or 3, but instead the lead goes back to 6, now 10-4. The consequences of a high-risk, high-reward serve. Here's Preston deep. Dowler in system. There's Rohrbach on the slide. That's Route 1 volleyball right there. That's exactly what the Terps have been looking to find. Spawn and Sire enter.
That's that kind of meat and potatoes style, very rudimentary, just like you draw it up. Rohrbach rotates around, swings the right hand, and gets the kill. And so now Maryland cutting this lead down to 5 with Spawn serving.
Spawn playing a similar role to the one that Allie Williams normally plays. It's been her role for the taking as the defensive specialist as well as the serve specialist. And that's Spawn's second service error of the day to expand the lead back to 6. Interesting to see that Spawn getting a few more looks today. Williams has really impressed. It hasn't been as many points, as many looks, but she has appeared in most every set and has impressed in her time. Spawn stays in. It's Yosiva to serve. Dowler pulled slightly out of system, loose again. Anderson rocked. Rohrbach and Sire combined. It's now 11-6 to the Terps. Now they gotta really get it going. They've had their chances, giving it right back to the Spartans. Here's their chance.
Yeah, and it's pretty impressive what the Spartans are doing in this set as they come into this game with the 4th lowest hitting percentage. Right now, their season average is 205, but right now they're at 149. They're underwater here, and so this second set, they really need to keep the Terps away.
Bishop relatively in system. Fingertips from Sire and Rohrbach, but Anderson's swing just a little too hard to handle. But that's where you say, all right, you've gotten the best of us on that, where at least you can say to yourself, we gave it our best and someone just got the better. If you lose more points like that, Hughes is able to accept that just a little bit more.
It's certainly better than being caught out of system.
Yes.
When you block the ball, it's really hard to predict where it's going to go.
Dowler gets creative. Joust at the net from Russ. Point still alive. Schnitta back row. There's Schnitta, the hitter, the one that we're used to seeing. That's her first kill, a hard one of set number 2. Her 4th on the day. Could that swing the momentum?
I mean, when you have a cannon like Schnitta does, you might as well use it, right? And she was almost even with that kind of middle line, and she still was able to get it down to where none of the Spartans could reach it.
Bishop the 1 set. And there's Kulig once again. Just her second error. Oh, well, check that. She hasn't had a single error yet. Was wondering if they were going to give her an error for a swing earlier. They did not. So she is still a perfect, now 5 for 5. Credit to the Spartans for killing momentum before it can even mount. Wong up. Touch off Bishop. There's Kulig again. Now Schnitta near side. Terps look a bit confused, but it does go the way of the Spartans, as did reach that other side of the net, just on the wrong side of the line.
Yeah, I believe it hit the antenna on the way down. It's going to be not a point for the Terps.
Serve goes just long. They're exchanging points at this rate now, and Maryland have been presented the opportunity to get themselves back into it, whether it be their own errors or Michigan State really tightening it up. Here with Sire, Schnitta, and Scherer all on the floor. That's a big ace. And finally, the Terps hold serve after getting it back. The 3-0 run could do real nice here to get it just back within touching distance. Started with Sire from the baseline. Nice block from Scherer, point still goes. Here's your free ball. Schnitta offhand, sent back hard.
It's a really nice job by the Spartans front line, rotating over and making sure that ball in from Schnitta just basically couldn't clear the wall. And that's why they were still kind of nursing that 6-point lead.
So interesting look here. We will see Zoe Wong in a front row role, at least for the time being. Normally see Wong as a back row setter. Soft touch from Russ through the middle. Preston and a joust at the net. It's a co-reversal here in the second set. Anytime there's been any momentum, Daniel Stein, it's either killed off or just gotten right back. And I called it earlier, but hey, sometimes you just have to roll with the punches.
Yeah, it's now 3 service errors apiece in this second set, but I think the thing that's really shifted things, Michael, is the blocks. Maryland outblocked the Spartans 5.5 to 1 in the first set. Maryland being outblocked here 4 to 2. So let's see if that number changes as this game goes on.
Nice dig from Lily Gunter. We haven't said her name too much tonight. There's Preston, located nicely again, and Scherer can't get there right in front of us.
I got concerned for a second for the table that was right, but luckily everything's okay. As Michigan State again inch very close, but you're right, this is looking a lot like that first set, as that previous point just kind of got out of hand. Gunter made some nice stops, but couldn't able to put it in an area where Scherer could go and get it.
That's a ferocious swing from Schnitta. It's been a couple times where she's put an absolute cannon of a swing on it in a potentially momentum-shifting way. Maryland just haven't been able to take advantage. Schnitta is also the product of her own downfall. She puts an ace in, but then concedes an error on the next one. So just keeping it in their hands is just really important right now. You can credit Michigan State there for being able to handle the serve. And a quick 1 set to Kulig kills off the momentum once again.
Yeah, it seems like the longer the second set goes on, the more just the less momentum there is for each team. It's way more back and forth than in the beginning of the set. But you're right about Schnitta. I think that it is kind of a blessing and a curse. It seems like sometimes she hits the ball perfectly and sometimes she can't really control how hard she hits it.
Scherer with a nice rebound. She got sent back on the first one. Makes that second one count. She will now take a seat for Jonna Spahn. Sam Sire will also return.
Yeah, pair of substitutions for the Terps as Spahn's going to check in right to serve. I think this is a pivotal part in this set here. Maryland down 6. That's kind of been where this lead has been for most of this second set. But if they're going to make their move and narrow that lead, this is where they got to do it.
That dances along the net, and it's just been one of those nights for Akash on the other side. So Grace Kelly, who we haven't seen so far, is also from Alexandria. So the DMV always reigning supreme, producing premier athletes. Has to be sent over on the third touch, and that is what Maryland needs to do. They get themselves in positions to succeed. Once they do that, they get the serve back into their hands, and they take care of business.
Yeah, how many setters do you see playing that close to the net like Sydney Dowler does? It goes to show her versatility and her attacking instincts that have only been getting stronger as her career has gone on here in Maryland.
She's in the thick of it once again. Her and Rohrbach combined to get the lead back within 3.
So there it is. There's that 4-0 scoring run you talked about earlier, Michael. And so now this game just 3 points away as Spawn's still serving here.
Yeah, credit to Spawn for rebounding from before. I mean, the 2 service errors could not have come at much worse of times, but she has kept it in her hands. She's dragged Michigan State out of system, and on plays like a 1-set there, having the players in the correct position has been crucial for Sam Sire to kill. And it starts at the baseline with Jonna Spahn, who has held serve really nicely so far. She serves away, unfazed by the breakup in momentum. Anderson near side. Schnitter the reverse. There's Sire! It's a 1-point game to the Terps. They are down 1. Sire has heated up here in set number 4. Her 4th kill. It's a 6-0 run.
So Sire now needed 2 kills to move into that top 5 spot. She's now at 4. So she's now the 5th highest killer here in College Park. But again, that experience really making plays. She looks to do it again here.
Bishop smothers the campfire. In system, Dowler. She puts it down. Nice dig out by Bishop to keep it going. Here's your overpass. Dowler up. Rohrbach reaches back. That's a real opportunity for the Terps to tie things up. Spartans let off the hook by a loose set from Sid Dowler, but a real good momentum boost to get themselves back within 2 from the prior 6 points.
Yeah, that was a really good rally. You just felt like something was going to play. I just don't think Rohrbach was expecting it, and I know that's a lot of Dowler's game is the kind of misdirection, but you have to be on the same page as your own teammate.
Float serve from Yosiva. Rohrbach saw it coming this time, but so did Susanna Kulig on the blocking end again. And now, should Maryland pull back in, this is where it becomes crunch time. Spartans have reached 20. To win it back here, get it within 2, and then get it closer as it becomes a maybe 5-6 point game. Terps have really struggled there all season long, so let's see how they lock in here. They're down 3 facing Yosiva. That's how it starts. Conceding an error, and now it's about keeping it in their own hands. As Spahn did before, it's up to Rohrbach now. They do have to play a bit free the way they did in set number 1.
Yeah, and that was exactly what Michigan State didn't want, because this is the part where the Terps struggle, but they just handed them possession here, and they're going to hand it right back to the Spartans.
And it's just those kinds of mental mistakes that we see when it gets to crunch time inside that 18, 19, 20-point threshold where there really isn't much room for error. At least get that point started and make Michigan State work for it. It's a 3-point game. Stanishevska deep to serve. Spahn a nice receive. Snuffed out by that outer line. It's Kulig on the edge, as well as Hold'em. Haven't said her name too much. Taylor Hold'em has been involved, though.
Yeah, Hold'em, a really interesting story. Sophomore from New Zealand, really good in her freshman season. She was the first all-Big Ten freshman for the Spartans since 2014, as there's a really short serve. But you're right, she has been quiet today. And again, the Spartans getting those points that are getting them closer. But Michael, I think what they've really done well in these past 4 points or so is just when Maryland responds and sends it back to their side, the Spartans send it right back to the hitter who hit it. So she's been caught off guard, basically, and that's why they've grown this lead.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just keep feeding that hot hand. Maryland tries to do the same to no avail, as Sire's error sends it to set point for Michigan State.
Yeah, Sire normally pretty accurate on those near side hits, but again, this is crunch time right here. Down by 6, you're gonna need your stars to step up.
Nice dump kill off from Dowler to kill that momentum. Maryland needs to go on another 6-0 run. That's point number 1. They need 5 more to keep this set going, send it to sudden death.
Dowler, one of their most experienced players with the ball in her hand. Let's see if she can show some of that serving prowess.
They got it back to within 1, did Maryland. And after that, once they reach that 18, it doesn't seem like either team has done too well of holding it throughout the whole game. It's been one set to another.
Yeah, it just comes down to controlling possession, right? And that's been, I think that's why these 2 sets have been 1-1, is because Michigan State controlled the second set, but Maryland controlled the first one.
Samantha Schnitta stuffed out. The combination of Kulig and Hold'em has been a real big one on the front lines in the efforts to stifle Schnitta, Sire, and Scherer.
It's going to be Stanishevska to serve, who we talked about it earlier, Michael, but again, this is an increased role for her today, and she's really made the most of her opportunity.
Kulig wasn't expecting the 1 set there. Nice work to be able to get it back over. There's Russ on the 1 set. She's got it.
It was a good job by Russ because she fielded that ball when I don't think she was necessarily expecting to, but then she went back, got the 3rd hit on the spike, and eventually won the point. So now Maryland in control of the serve here with Lily Gunter.
Each team let their set that they lost really get away from them. So you think it's going to be a lot closer here in this 3rd set with each team knowing what they have to do. Someone just dances along the net. It'll be an overpass for the Terps to try and take advantage of, which they do through Katie Scherer. It's going to be her as the tertiary option without Layla Ivey, now without Sydney Bryan. She's really taken advantage of her chance as she is close to her career high in kills. She leads the Terps on the day.
Yeah, it's been really impressive, and I know the Terps are thin at those outside hitters, but the hitters they do have are experienced, talented players, and for a freshman like Scherer to be playing right with them, going band for band with them, it's been really impressive.
Dug out nicely by Wong on the 1 set. Schnitta looked for the spot. There's Hold'em, dug out by Williams. These are the points that we want to see. There's Schnitta, a big momentum turning point early in set number 3. There hasn't been a lot of that through this game so far. It's been quick points. It's been kind of sloppy points. That one looks a lot more like it from both teams. Maryland winning it.
Yeah, now a 3-0 run as Schnitta and Scherer basically just trading that first place position for kills. They both have 6 here on the night.
Kulig sent back on the slide. It's Scherer and Rohrbach taking care of business. Maryland humming early in here in set number 3. And just a miscommunication, and when it's going right, sometimes that's just what happens. Lily Gunter keeping the momentum going, and she's straight back to serve. She doesn't want any breaks. She doesn't want Michigan State to have any time to think about it.
Yeah, Gunter, one of the most experienced players on this team. Another former transfer, spent, as he's gonna get another service ace. He's on her second school, spent 3 years at Mississippi State, as we're gonna get a timeout. But again, this is what you want. Put the ball in the hands of your most experienced players, and that's when Maryland has been at their best.
It's just been falling the Terps' way so far in set number 3, Daniel. The exact start they needed after getting the first point lost off them. They respond for 6 straight, serving being at the center of it once again, as you've talked about.
Yeah, and that now separates the service aces a bit more to what we were expecting to see. Maryland sitting at 5 service aces on the game, Michigan State sitting at only 1. But I think another thing, Michael, that I'm going to be watching as this game goes on is the blocks. We talked about it before, but whoever has won the set has been the better blocking team. Right now, they're even here, the two teams in the third set at 1 each. But as this set goes on, and maybe we're going to see less of those really clean plays as maybe fatigue starts to set in, the blocking game is what I'm going to be looking for. The Terps have a strong start so far, and I'm sure they're going to keep doing that off of the serve, but the block is also another important part.
Maryland has been such a good blocking team. That's been nearly their entire identity over the last few seasons up until this one. It's really kind of dropped off. I mean, you lose probably your best blocker in program history in Raynell Jones. It's bound to take maybe a slip off, but you still have two really good blockers in Rohrbach being a two-way blocker on the defensive side and the attacking side. You also have a lot of height through the middle. And Anastasia Russ, she came back for her 6th year, her 2nd in College Park after spending the first 4 with her hometown Pitt Panthers. We're back underway through Gunter once again. And Hold'em gets an extremely necessary point for the Spartans. It could have gotten away from them before the set even started. But now back within 4, you feel like that's somewhat manageable.
Yeah, 4 points is much better than 5, and Hold'em, again, is one of those players that they really need to step up in this game, and she's a pretty good server as well, coming into this game with 16 service aces.
Wong up, Rohrbach hard, and it may not have been the way you wanted it to, maybe just a bit of a dance, not as emphatic, because Rohrbach really rocketed that down. Regardless, she wins it. The sophomore has been electric in her first 2 seasons.
Yeah, Rohrbach now the 3rd Maryland player with 4 kills, and the 6th Maryland player with at least 4, as it's been a really balanced offensive attack tonight.
Dowler up. There's Rohrbach again. Feed that hot hand as Rohrbach slams down on the slide.
Yeah, I had to correct myself. She's actually the 5th player with at least 4 kills, but she's now up to 5 kills. And again, just speaks to the balance on this offense tonight, and that's really been a strength. And let's see what the D1 leader can do here in service aces with Samantha Schnitta.
That's her 3rd on the day, down the line, not even touched. That's about as aced as an ace gets.
Yeah, I mean, when she serves the ball, you can see she's going to throw the ball up to put this spin on it, and then she spins it the exact opposite way, and it ends up going downward. I mean, that is just so difficult to stop, as that one was really close to being another service ace, though.
That breaks up an 8-1 run that the Terps had. Looks like Hughes might want to take a look at it. There are fans off in the corner saying there could have even been a touch. There we stand here in set number 3, tied at 1 set apiece. Susanna Kulig, the big middle back to serve. The Polish sophomore serves away. Dowler up. Rohrbach the hot hand with the soft touch. Over by Preston. Dowler another opportunity. This time far side, Scherer gets a touch. Julia Bishop up. There's Preston stationed perfectly, Gunter. Scherer again has to reach. She got it around the pin, and here's your free ball if you're Maryland. It's loose from Dowler, and this time, Scherer can't do much with that. It was a chance, but unfortunately...
All night for Taylor Preston. Again, this is a former Gatorade Player of the Year in high school. This is really not someone you want to let get going here if you're Coach Adam Hughes and the Terps.
Kulig has stayed deep to serve. For a taller player, she's done prolifically on the serve side. She digs out there and sets Preston up again, who's cut shot with absolutely no speed. It's been Susanna Kulig, the Pole, who's been deep to serve for this entire 4-0 run. She looks to make it 5. Over on the touch from Rohrbach. Was tough to deal with it, to be fair, and just completely killed away. The lead is now 2.
That's a really tough serve because it hit the tape as it rolled over, and so the Terps just gave Neil O'Cour an easy spike.
As it did on the serve attempt from Gunter, it's now rolling the Spartans' way. It takes another touch off the tape. Here's Rohrbach, sent back. Shearer loses out, and her foot may have touched the line. It's gone over the line indeed. The lead is now 1.
That's a shame because the Terps recovered pretty well. It was a good job by that back line fielding some pretty rough attempts from the Spartans, and they just kind of Spartans got bailed out on that play, and now they're looking to tie it here at 9.
Dowler up. The touch from Shearer, a huge point to kill off what was once a Maryland 6-0 run. Michigan State get one of their own. We're almost back to net 0. Terps do have the lead. A big kill from Katie Scherer, her 6th of the evening.
Yeah, that now is her 7th of the evening.
Yeah, thank you.
Ties the career high. It's still plenty of volleyball to go. She's been just getting better and better as the season has gone on.
Michigan State asking for a touch on Preston's swing. It is not granted. Lead is back to 3.
You remember during some of the best moments of that second set for Maryland, it was Jonna Spahn serving. Let's see what she can do here with that lead widening to 3.
Preston just lifts down. Might have been a bit more of a reach than she would have liked. Just goes down a little bit quicker though.
And she's going to ask for the mop here as they're going to clean the floor a bit. But again, if you're the Terps, this lead is narrowed, but I like the fight that they've had. They're not letting the momentum completely swing. They're keeping that lead to 2.
Each team feels the importance of this third set. You can tell in the way they're playing. They don't want to go too free. They want to be able to play their game, but they want to be able to play their game within the bounds of not making a, or at least a helpless mistake. And that was touch number 4. Yosiva can't believe it. She thought it was something else. But that was indeed 4 hits from the Spartans. Lead back to 3.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. It took kind of a deflection off of Yosia, maybe hit her shoulder or her head on that play. But again, it's just Sam Syer finding the hole in the defense, and she does that very well in this game so far.
The touch from Syer really benefited Michigan State there. It was just as simple as Maryland dragging him out of system. Had Syer not touched that and maybe taken a bit more control on the set, maybe Terps can stretch that point out a little longer. Instead, it goes the way of the Spartans. Preston now back to serve. And it touches the line.
It'll be the second service ace of the night for the Spartans as they're starting to gain a little bit of ground in that disparity. But with Preston, she only came into this game with 9 service aces. The Terps have to field whatever she sends over.
Schnitta on the Bick, sent back hard by herself. Neil O'Cour. It's been the bench. It's been the players that haven't had as much of a role. It's their impacts that have been felt the most today for the Spartans.
As it's now tied at 12, I think it just speaks to the depth of the Michigan State team, but they've also just shown good fight. They've never really let anything get out of hand after that first set. This is going to be a contested finish here in College Park.
Preston back row. Spartans have the lead. A 6-point deficit erased.
It's going to be now a 4-0 scoring run here as that mop comes out once again. But you can just feel the nerves in this room increasing quite a bit. This has been a really hard-fought couple of sets so far, and this third set is looking to be the most hard-fought of them all.
It's because it's so even. It's been so one-sided to each team. The first set going to Maryland and the second set going to Michigan State. It seems like the game has finally reeled itself back in, gotten to a lot more of a competitive feel. here into set number 3. It's the most important one at the moment. It'll set the tone for the rest of this match going forward. Dowler up. Sire far side. Josia's right there. Can Anderson have her effect felt? She sure can. 5-0 run to the Spartans.
Yeah, and with Rohrback not on the floor right now, you're kind of sacrificing some of that defense with Sire in there. And Sire just a little bit more of an offensive player than a defensive player, and that, I think, is what made the difference on that last point.
The back set for Anderson. There's Gunter. In system, Dowler. Soft touch, handled. Free ball, Sire sent back again. And Dowler finds it. The opposite corner vacated. And keeping this game, this set, within 1. Huge from Sydney Dowler.
It was just all around a really good performance from both teams on that last play. Gunter had a good dig, and then you saw a couple of digs from the Spartans that really kept them in it. Terps win a hard-fought point, as there's going to be a bit of a pause here in the action. But Terps, that's what you need to do. Even if it's a hard-fought point, it's still a point. That cuts the lead to 1. Can't give her that open of a look, and especially at that angle, it's game over when she hits it.
Far side Anderson took a touch. The pass from Schnitta loose. Sire manages to continue it. Preston out of the back row, it's wide. Terps retake the lead.
You can see especially how happy Spawn and Dowler were, because they were both in the area as it looked like it was going to be a lost point for the Terps. A good one-arm hit by Dowler to keep that one in play, and that hands the Terps their first lead.
Free ball for Anastasia Russ. Terps on a 4-0 scoring run. Akasha Anderson, whose impact has yet to be felt. Got a touch off of her block. She just has to send it over on the overpass. Chance for Maryland. The loose set from Dowler. They'll have another chance this time on the overpass. Dowler up. The one set from Anastasia Russ. They'll have a third chance. Gunter. Dowler. Schnitta. Doesn't hit the floor. The Spartans resilient here on this point. It could be a momentum swinger. Sire reaches back, and it has to be pushed over for a 4th time. Can the Spartans rein it under their control? No! It finally hits the floor. Resilient point for the Maryland Terrapins. It could be a backbreaking one for the Spartans.
What a play. I mean, this was probably the best rally of the night. And I was thinking about this during the break. So much of this game in the 3rd set, I talked about how it was going to come down to blocks, but I was dead wrong, because this game has been played in the 3rd set way more above the net than at the net. And I think Maryland did a great job just staying calm, never breaking out of system, as they're doing here again on this play, just running their offense.
A great dig from Lily Gunter leads to another Sam Sire point. That's been a theme tonight. The second 6-0 scoring run for the Terps, the 3rd of this set. They're back up 4.
And Sire has been playing well lately, 10+ kills in 3 of her last 4 matches. Right now she sits at 6, so she's going to need a little bit more to get into the double digits, as this one's sent closer to the band. But again, this is just what you want with this kind of short-handed Maryland team, is a balanced offensive attack that's not folding under pressure.
Big credit to Sid Dowler. You can laud the mistake there, but she served it in for 7 straight points and gives the Terps the lead of 3.1 at that, as Wong checks in for her. Like-for-like switch. Wong will now set out of the back row. That's the 2nd time Sire's let one go. That has landed in. Now a 2-point lead, Josia on the serve.
Josia comes into this game leading the Spartans in service aces with 17. And that's just a really well-placed serve. Let's see what she does this time.
Sire more alert. Loose set, dealt with nicely though by Sire, forcing them in and out of system. Here's Wang. And Schnitter too hot for Bishop to handle.
I mean, the best chance you have at digging out a Samantha Schnitter spike is putting two hands on the ball, or two arms on the ball, I should say. And that time, the defender was only able to get one, and that's why the Terps got the point.
Akasha Anderson just wide. That opens up a 4-point lead. The previous swing from Schnitter is her 8th kill on the night in 22 attempts. Scherer has 7 kills and 24. Sire with 6 kills and 26. Pretty even distribution for the 3 main options on the Terps attack. Here's your overpass. Wang up, Russ down, and that will be hit number 4. The one set coming in nice again. Wang has worked really nicely with Rohrbach and Russ on the quick set.
Yeah, all the setters for Maryland tonight have done a good job, and that was kind of a pinball-like play. A lot of these errant deflections. That's not something MSU wants here at this point in the game.
Nice dig up from Wang on the soft touch from Preston. And just a complete mistime. That speaks to exactly how this now 4-0 scoring run is going for Maryland. It just seems like they have the momentum on their side. They're forcing Michigan State into mistakes.
Yeah, they're going to make a substitution as Rachel Meisinger is coming into the game for the first time. But again, Kulig has been really good in this game. 6 kills, hitting at a 455 clip, but that one, she just mistimes the jump. That time Hold'em just put Gunter in a really tough position. There's way too big of a hole there in the Maryland center. And Hold'em, great vision to find the kill.
Kills off a 4-0 scoring run. 7 of the last 9 now have gone to the Terps. They hold a 4-point lead. It's around these areas we talked about in set number 1 where it gets dicey. But just a complete mishandle on the serve from Staniszewska. It seems like that's the first negative thing she's done tonight.
Yeah, and that ends the Maryland lead in service errors as they now have 7 apiece. But that is a poorly timed one as Maryland now just 2 points away from taking the set.
Now 8 of the last 10 have gone to the Terps. Gunter was the spark plug from the service line on the last big one. Did not get a touch off of Wang, and now in this crucial set number 3, the Terps have set point.
Well, that gets the fans here at the PAV standing. Gunter's gonna serve. No timeouts left for the Spartans. They just gotta play this one out.
A hard swing down. Susanna Kulig says not just yet. She makes this a 6-point game. They're on set point. But how they've acted, these Maryland Terrapins, when they get inside that 20, nothing's safe yet until they reach number 25.
Yeah, they were able to finish the job in the first set, but now with Hold'em serving for the Spartans, this is crunch time.
Wang up, far side Scherer, and she deserves that. Katie Scherer really deserves that kill to end set number 3.
Down to attack errors. Michigan State had 4, Maryland just had 1. Maryland were just more clinical with their attacks, and that's why they won the set, and they're going to look to finish it off here in set number 4. But this has been a hard-fought game. This is what we expected for two teams trying to end their respective losing streaks and trying to kind of get back into that Big Ten pack as we're almost ready to go here from the PAV.
15 of the final 16 points went the way of the Maryland Terrapins in set number 3. It looked like just about as Michigan State had reeled it back in, the Terps completely sprinted away with it. We're underway in set number 4 with one of the stories of the game. It's been the service errors. Each team hasn't been too positive on that side, but Maryland feeling the benefits and the positives of it just a little bit more.
Yeah, 8-7 is where the service errors stand. Michigan State with the slight advantage, but Maryland has also had more service aces, though. So, by and large, they've been the better serving team.
Maryland had their backs against the wall just for a sec, put it in the hands of Schnitter, and it falls straight back down. Did want to clarify, I did see that they had the lead, did Michigan State. They've been the beneficiaries because they've been able to take advantage of when Michigan State just gives them the serve straight back. That was the story of set number 3. There was a service error. That 1 point that Michigan State won had serve back in their hands, straight back to the Terps on an error, and it was all Terps from there.
Yeah, so now in a tie game here as they clean up the court a bit with Yosia serving, a dangerous server for the Spartans. This is one of those opportunities where Spartans are going to try to use Yosia, one of their best servers, and Terps are going to try to keep that momentum swinging towards their way.
Nice up from Wang, just has to be free balled over. Hold him on the opposite side. It's a respectable effort from Schnitt, it just lands on the wrong side of the line.
Yeah, when you're playing that close to that far post, it's going to be really difficult to angle the ball back inward. But you're right, good effort there from that Terps front line.
It's Gunter to receive this. It sets up Scherer pretty nicely, but the combination just too strong. Once again, Susanna Kulig has been the real spark plug. 7 kills, now 7 blocks for the Pole.
Yeah, and this is a good recovery from the Terps, but they got out of system, and Gunter had to charge almost towards where we're sitting to even keep that ball in play, and Scherer just couldn't get that one over the net.
Oh, Anastasia Russ had a ferocious attack. And though it might not fall on the correct side of the court, it does fall on the correct side of the line for the Terps. They're back within 1.
So that ends the 3-0 scoring run. Now 3-2. Spartans still lead this one, but again, Rohrbeck back into the game. I think Hughes notices that the Terps are struggling a bit, playing close to the net, so Rohrbeck in the middle should make things a little better.
We'll get another chance. Near side, Scherer takes a touch and lands. Kill number 9 for the freshman. It seems like both Scherer and Hughes are treating this as an audition for next season. I mean, she's sure gonna ace that role should she continue it tonight.
Yeah, the freshman is having one of her best career games, if not her best, but the job's not finished yet. This game's still tied.
Scherer also has 3 blocks on the night. Eva Rohrbach, a bit of physicality up there, as you mentioned, Daniel. Forces a double touch. Is Yosia okay? Yes, she is. But there you mention it, the physicality, the athleticism of Eva Rohrbach through the middle.
Yeah, and she's a really valuable player, and the Terps have a decent amount of depth at that middle blocker position, but Rohrbach just continues to play better and better as the season progresses.
Gunter at the spearhead on the service game again. Real nice work, though, to reel it back in, and Preston kills off out of system. Nice work from Michigan State.
Yeah, Preston, she's not the lead killer on this Spartan team, but she's been the lead today. 9 kills, hitting at a 208 clip. And so Spartans tie this game up once again here down in the set column.
Staniszewska had Williams worrying. Soft touch. It put Staniszewska off. Now Wang the up. For Samantha Schnitter.
I think Schnitter tonight, for the most part, has really reeled in her power with that left hand, has been really accurate. Now with the serve, that's a different conversation, but see what she can do to try to widen this lead.
Yosia was off put. Nice dugout on Kulig's swing. And just the soft touch off of Kulig's hand settles down, and Schnitter will have it in her hands once again.
Right away, she put the Spartans out of system because she's probably not trying to do it, but she hits the ball into the tape and it rolls over to make it a more awkward position. So she's always got something up her sleeve.
And unfortunately, while she may have an ace, she might have a joker up her sleeve as well. As the next ace, and it almost seems inevitable when you go as such a high clip as Samantha Schnitter, makes it a 1-point game. Terps lead this 2-1 here on Big Ten Plus. Michael Kirsting, Daniel Stein with you. We thank you for joining us here for Terrapin Spartans. It's some great volleyball here tonight on a Thursday night just outside our nation's capital. Game tied, well, this set tied rather, at 6. Terps having won a crucial third set just a few minutes ago. Should the Terps pull this out, it'll end an 8-game skid. Mentioned earlier, it seemed like, I said it in these words too, it seems like the Terps have played the number 11 team every week on this 8-game road skid. Most of them are on the road too. Road to Wisconsin, road to Minnesota, Illinois, Oregon, Washington. This Indiana game, it seems like, has been the first time they've been home in forever.
Yeah, it's just the nature of the bigger and more competitive Big Ten Conference this year. But again, this is a big opportunity. And like you said, it's an audition for the younger players, but also for the older players too, to try to close out their potentially final season on a good note.
Will Scherer get another chance? Yes. She's sent back again. It's got to be handled by Schnitta to keep it alive. The dump set. Now Maryland have their chance. Rohrbach on the slide. Terps with their backs against the wall. Pull it out through Eva Rohrbach. She has been a difference maker.
As you see, Sayers about to come in for Scherer, but that was a really good play. Dowler barely got to this ball right in the backcourt, but they were able to field it, and then on a whim, they drew up a nice come around there from Rohrbach to finish off the kill. That gives the Terps the lead.
It was Gunter who got the opportunity just for a nice cushion pass to set Dowler up for Rohrbach on the slide. That was mistake number 1, really. And to limit any more momentum going the Terps' way, a big swing gets it back into Michigan State's hands. Schnitta with 10 kills and Preston with 10 kills to lead the way. Kulig serves away. And too tough to handle. Is Spahn okay? Looks like she is. She wears a smile on her face as per normal. And Kulig's ace puts the Spartans back into the lead.
As per normal, she's flying all over the court.
Yeah.
Really one of the only Maryland players that does that. But again, even when she doesn't make the play on this specific occasion, she saves so many Maryland would-be losses by just recovering to the ball better than most players.
Dowler, nice dump set, but it's dug out by Stanishevska. And the hard swing finds the line. Oh, no, it doesn't. It looked like Michigan State celebrated. There was no indication initially.
Well, that's got Leah Johnson standing up.
Yep.
As she's going to have a conversation with the ref.
Yeah, Michigan State celebrated the point. Julia Bishop comes over to the near side official to see exactly what the call was.
So they said that the ball landed out of bounds, which from our view, Michael, it did look like it. But as you can see, the ref kind of had his hands upward as Coach Johnson is going to sit back down, as you can see. No review. They're going to give Maryland the point.
Looks like there was enough for Johnson to put her challenge card back down. Preston flies, but she's rejected hard. Dowler and Russ combine. And it's going back and forth once again. Since that third set, the volleyball's been reeled back in, and it's good old-fashioned volleyball now. Back and forth we go here from the PAV.
So in the first 3 sets, there were 5 ties combined. In this set, 6 already. That's how back and forth it's been in set number 4.
Near side Sire, some heat taken off of it. Stanishevska had a bit of a tough time, and Russ puts it down. And there's her signature finger wag. She's feeling it now. Anastasia Russ has 6 kills on the night.
Yeah, when you're 6'5", you can do a lot in the middle, and Russ has been really good playing close to the net in these last couple sequences.
And give her the service ace. It's been even.
Tonight, they're ahead in the 4th set. See what they can do.
It seems like this Maryland defense has had Taylor Preston's number this entire game. They were thinking it might have been Akasha Anderson. It might have been Stanishevska. It might have been cooling, but it is Preston leading the line. This third set, the key has been locking Preston down.
Yeah, and you see that difference in blocks starting to grow. UMD at 3, MSU at 1 in this final set.
And now Preston being forced into mistakes. They do call it the Spartans' way, though. Must have gotten a touch on the other end. So Preston let off the hook. It probably was going wide either way. You're not going to take a chance when you're up front at net.
So that ends the 5-0 scoring run. There's a bit of miscommunication there. We'll get the Spartans within 2. It's going to be Bishop to serve again.
Dowler in system, plenty of options. And Sam Sire flies high.
That was about as close as it could get to being a Maryland loss there, as that ball just rolled on the tape, but eventually rolled harmlessly out of bounds. That puts the lead back at 3 with Dowler serving.
Dowler's been really good on the serve tonight. She does have her second error there. She was searching for something. You can do that up 2 points. Don't think Adam Hughes will be too discouraged with that. Have a little bit of room. Just have to rely on your team to get you back in it now. With your X factor, Preston back to serve. Anastasia Russ. They call her the Secretary of Defense. It's been the Secretary of Attack tonight. Anastasia Russ's 6th kill on the night is the most emphatic.
That was perfectly drawn up. Huang was in the middle, and it just looked like she was throwing an alley-oop. And Russ really does a good job timing her attacks. Even though she doesn't jump super high, she doesn't need to jump super high, but she made a nice play there.
Hard swing from Aaliyah Moore gets the touch off of Sire. So lead stays at 2. Nalani Yosia back to serve again. She is the conference's premier libero. She leads in digs and digs per set. Terps have done a good job of taking her out of the game when they can. They tried to go back to Russ. That's what's been working. This time snuffed out through the middle. Lead is 1.
Michigan State doing a good job. Anytime Maryland has gone on a run, Michigan State has gone on a matching mini run of their own. Now within 1 with Yosia serving. This is exactly who you want the ball to have if you're the Spartans.
Yosia serves away. Scherer takes it on the chin. Bishop in system. Wong digs out. Gunter the up. And Schnitta gets a fingertip. Joust at the net. Nice snuff out by Yosia, and it finds the corner. Such vision from the libero. Her floor IQ on full display. We're tied at 14.
Yeah, Yosia only comes into this game with 14 kills. That's number 15. But as you said, Michael, just great vision. She found the exact corner that Maryland couldn't get to. Allie Williams was within fingers of that ball, but again, it was really well placed.
4 of those kills actually came in that match against USC with her friends and family watching. Just long from Schnitta, and Michigan State has the lead back. They're on a 4-0 run. They've been helped by the Terps, though. Close, but it doesn't count for too much if it's not close and if it's not just in. Yosia away, touches the net, a pancake up by Gunter to keep it alive. Here's the Spartans overpass, Bishop in system. Oh, Cooley could have had a real swing at it. Instead, now the Terps have their chance. Schnitta offhanded finds the floor. A huge point to keep this thing tied and disrupt a 4-0 scoring run from the Spartans. And now it's a game to 10.
Yeah, it's a huge point indeed. That's Schnitta's 11th kill, and this was not the best set from Wong. It was a little bit too close to the net, but Schnitta recovered really well, also drew the deflection. That was a clutch play from the Overland Park native.
Not quite timed on the pass from Wong. Nicely timed, though, for Schnitte. And it might start to get a bit tighter here, as there is little room for error. Maryland winning this set would clinch the game. The Spartans win it, we go to a fifth. Bishop in system. Back row Preston right there's Gunter. Wong up. Schnitte down! Schnitte, the hitter's 13th kill of the night. That's a game high.
Yeah, and she's the only one player from each team to hit double digits. She's the overall leader with 13. But again, she's hot. She's got 3 straight kills. Got to be very careful if you're Michigan State. Can't let her heat up even more.
Aaliyah Moore makes sure. Her impact has been felt in this 4th set.
Yeah, Leah Moore, we didn't really see her a ton in those first couple of sets. She played at Illinois State with Coach Leah Johnson back in 2021. She was on the all-freshman team down there in Illinois and now making an impact here in a really crucial spot.
The back set from Zoe Wong. Samantha Schnitte is taking control. It might have been a bit of an even distribution before, but you talked about the experience, how much it means, and how much they do need it. This is when you let your veterans take control.
Yeah, the Overland Park, Kansas native is like 2015 Wade Davis trying to close out this game, and she's going to get the serve as well. Unfortunately, serves it into the net for the Terps.
Are you Cubs or Sox, you Chicago man?
Cubs.
Surprised you even brought that up. I'm surprised.
I have Kansas roots, though. I know my ball.
Okay. No, you do. That unlocked a part of my brain. Us two baseball minds over here. There's Rohrbach on the slide. Back to volleyball action. Preston sent back. And we talk about the defensive prowess of Sydney Dowler on full display by herself. 19-17 to the Terps.
Yeah, I mean, considering she's a setter, number 8 has 8 blocks on the night. It's almost unheard of for setters, and she's played a really balanced game, assisting the offense, but also being crucial on defense.
Kulig has also been thwarted a lot. And there's Julia Bishop, the setter, getting love from her teammates. Not all that often that a setter gets a complete swing in there. She makes the most of her moment, but Kulig has also been one that has been pretty neutralized relatively here in set number 4. She's back deep to serve. In a 1-point game here from the PAV. It's been a real good one if you've just tuned in. And offhand again, could the service errors come back to bite them again? Terps first to 20. They're 5 points away from breaking their 8-game losing streak and gaining a lot more momentum into the home stretch of this season with UCLA coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, it's now 19 combined service errors. Maryland with the slight lead, but again, that's just not what you want if you're either team, frankly.
There's Preston, couldn't reel in. Dowler out of system finds Sire, who goes just wide. Spartan still in it.
Yeah, that's kind of the downside of how Sam Sire hits the ball. You can see she doesn't square her shoulders as much as Schnitte does. She hits it at much more of an angle, leaving it more potential to hit it in the red, and that time she just couldn't quite get that one in bounds.
Nice up from Spahn. Dowler, near side Sire, it got a touch.
It's great work again, and I off the hit, it looked like it was just going to be a missed opportunity for Maryland, but that barely got a touch, and sometimes, Michael, it can be a game of inches, but right now, Maryland really close to ending that losing streak.
Not if Taylor Preston has anything to say about it. Back and forth they go, the Terrapins and the Spartans, in a tightly contested set number 4. A win in set number 4 for the Terps gives Maryland their first win since September. A win for the Spartans, it goes to a 5th. Preston serves away. Wong up. Anastasia Russ is dug out by Yosia. Free ball. Wong Sire, she was reaching. It touches the pin, and we're tied.
Yeah, it was hard to tell whether those two sets from Huang were mistimed on her part or mistimed by Sire and Russ. It just felt like neither of them had a good hit on the ball, and I think that really cost them because those were some good looks too. And that's why this game is tied here at 20-21, I should say. 9 ties in this 4th set alone.
Yeah, after that 4-0 run from 15-15, it got to 17-15, and those last 2 points that have Michigan State tied it up. Before that, it was literally back and forth and back and forth.
6 lead changes in this 4th set. Want to know how many lead changes there have been in the rest of the game? 4.
First to 4 here in set number 4. Anastasia Russ, the biggest kill of the night. Call her the Secretary of Attack for now on. 7 kills on the night for the big middle.
It's now 5 players with at least 7 kills, and there's been 6 players that have all the kills, basically, all 50 of them. The lowest has 5. It's been such a balanced game for this team.
There's an edge. There's a tension in this building right now. The fans can feel it. The players can feel it. Katie Scherer gets kill number 10 for the first time in her career. That opens up a 2-point lead with the ball still in Maryland's hands. 2 points away.
It's a crucial play, and if you're Coach Johnson, this is where those timeouts come in handy because this is a big run that the Terps are going to end, as it just seems like I keep jinxing service errors, Michael. But again, Maryland giving Michigan State an opportunity. But we saw something like that kind of in the end of the 3rd set with Michigan State with a poorly timed service error. Let's see how they rebound here.
It's a precious service error that Sire gives the Spartans. All the noise in the pad for Yosia's serve. Gunter handles. Wong up. Samantha Schnitter sent back. Kept in play. Will be free balled over by Russ. Bishop up. Near side, more dugout. And free balled over. Yosia up. More sent back and then to the corner. What a huge point for the Terps. It finds the open corner on the block, and the Terps are at match point.
That's unbelievable stuff. This was so close to being out of bounds, but now the Terps just 1 point away. Everyone in the path, or at least most of them, standing here. Huge play.
The Terps 1 point away. The Pav rises. The beats are playing. The tension for such a tightly contested game. It boils down to this. Lily Gunter is deep to serve with the Pav on their feet. For Maryland's first win since September. Bishop up. Preston is wide! And the Terps have won it!